Good evening, fellow Zimbabweans. Welcome to episode 18 of Now the Brett Holley. This week is quite a long title. It's called Speak, Ask, Act. This flag. Fed up. Tajamuka. Sesjikile. Hatichad. Asisafuni. Hatichad. The past 2 weeks have seen a spike in abductions of ordinary activists and people who are speaking out against the junta. From having a junta minister threaten the This Flag founder in a car park, we have had the Occupy Africa Unity Square activists also abducted. After the Occupy Africa Unity Square gained a bit more momentum this week and last, some brave activists embarked on what they were calling a 24-hour occupation of the square. Under our new constitution in Zimbabwe, the most important document in the whole country as far as laws are concerned, people are actually allowed to congregate peacefully. What is more peaceful than a dozen or so people sitting on a bench in a park? No inciting of violence, not attacking people, not throwing stones or burning cars. Among them was even a disabled woman, as well as a mother and a very young child. Yet the riot police came and arrested them all, beating some as they were carried away. Once arrested and taken before the junta-led courts, they were given bail of $1,000 each. Now, considering that bail is set looking at one's income, those occupying the square are students. Some of them are activists, and they don't have a lot of money, or in fact no money and no income at all. So how was $1,000 bail arrived at? To put that into context, on the same day, in the same court, with the same judge, a serial fraudster or con artist was given $100 bail for stealing $6,000. So it seems sitting in a park now carries a heavier sentence than stealing. While that was happening, one of the activists who was occupying the square, by the name of Roy, was found dead on the pavement outside a well-known hotel in Harare. Apparently, he was said to have committed suicide after jumping out of the 7th floor window. That is the junta's story. This is Zimbabwe, a country that has the highest incident of single cars smashing into trees on our highway containing political figures, closely followed by single drivers whose cars get stuck on railway tracks just as the locomotive passes that exact spot. The Progressive Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, PTUZ for short, had their Mashingo chairman taken in broad daylight while actually teaching his class. The guys who came to take him identified themselves as officers from the president's office. He was constantly poked, shoved, pushed and slapped while he was sitting on a concrete floor without shoes. He was asked about his kids, his wife, where they go to school, where the wife works, where he lives, his political affiliation. After beating him some more, they then took pictures, and in the end, one of the guys in charge said, and I quote, "You are lucky because Vandi Tuma," which means those who sent me, "had told me to do worse things on you." End of quote. Imagine that, in broad daylight, in 2016, taken, beaten and told to keep quiet. Hashtag Tajamuka, sesjikile, is another group of activists going about occupying public spaces, giving speeches to those who are around that area, and then dispersing as the junta henchmen arrive. Again, this should be allowed in a democracy, but to date, over 30 of them have been arrested, and at one point, the combined bail was set at $25,000 US. Again, ridiculous amounts set to try and squash these activists. However, all these efforts are showing the citizens that ordinary people can stand up and speak out. Comrades and fellow servants, when I came to South Africa, my uncle told me a certain saying, and I haven't forgotten. He said, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is called madness. This can apply in business, in relationships, in politics, and in activism. Heading towards 2018, it seems our political parties are using the same tactics that they used since the year 2000, and yet expecting to win. We haven't won using those tactics in the last 4 elections. The above examples that I've just mentioned happening in 2016 show us very clearly that the junta will use violence and intimidation to control us. Even if we do win in 2018, the results will simply be held back, cooked up a little bit, and then released with the results favoring the junta, or in the very, very least favoring a complete write-off, run-off with the junta and another party. We know this is going to happen. The question is, what are we going to do differently this time around? And this is the question we need to address as activists and put pressure on opposition parties to unite in a coalition. A coalition is the first step to being able to fight back in an organized and more efficient way. Unity of activists and opposition parties will bring a coordinated response to what is going to happen in 2018. Make no mistakes, comrades. The junta will again steal the elections in 2018. There is no way to hide from that truth. The kidnapping, the torture of activists lately, we can see that the junta is going to rely on its tried and tested methods to use violence on the electorate towards the build-up. We need each other now more than ever. Wherever you are in the world, occupy a space. Wear your Zim flag. Wear any Zim colors and speak out against this junta. Make your voice heard and do your bit for the fight for democracy in our home called Zimbabwe. And that brings an end to an episode of Brett Vet News. If you like what I'm saying, please don't hesitate to look up our Facebook page and our Brett Vet YouTube channel, all entitled Brett Vet. Thank you.